I'm sure that every single one of you watching this has had those days, those weeks, those months where you thought that they would go a particular way. You thought that you'd be achieving certain goals, where you thought you'd be ticking certain boxes. But then life happens and you'll find yourself dealing with certain situations, certain unseen situations at times that are nothing like what you had planned. And so often in these times, it's easy to get frustrated. It's easy to get consumed by emotions. It's easy to get into really disempowering emotional states and behavioral patterns because life is not going the way we had hoped it would go. This past week, my son ended up needing his appendix removed, and he was in hospital for 5 nights. I was in hospital some of the nights with him, but for the most part, I was taking care of our 2 daughters while we navigated all of this unforeseen event. And it was one of those weeks where I had certain things planned and it didn't go the way I had hoped. And I realized in those moments that I could get very frustrated if I let myself. I could start judging the situation. I could start getting derailed and actually put myself further behind. But I started actually looking at how did the Stoics deal with disappointment? And there were certain quotes that I found that really helped me through. So today I wanted to share those with you, because guaranteed life is never going to go the way we want, or very rarely. There's always going to be added things. There's always going to be little things that bubble up that we couldn't foresee. And in many ways, that's the beauty of life. Life is a rich tapestry of situations and events. And if we always knew exactly the way it would go, how boring would that be? So the mentalities and ideas I'm going to share in this video are designed to support you navigate those times of uncertainty, of unpredictability in the most effective way possible. So one thing that I discovered was this idea called the dichotomy of control. And this comes from Epictetus, who was one of the Stoics. And I'll probably do a whole video on Epictetus because he's a pretty amazing individual. His wisdom is just profound, and him as an individual, his background it's very, very inspiring. So I'll dedicate a video to that. But this dichotomy of control is essentially understanding that there are things we have no control over, and simply just asking yourself, is this within my control or not? Is it inside my control or is it outside my control? I think that wording is very important. Just asking yourself that simple question can immediately eliminate some of the unnecessary pressure that we might put on ourselves when life is not going the way we ultimately want it to go. Epictetus said, "The chief task in life is simply this, to identify and separate matters so that I can say clearly to myself which are external, not under my control, and which have to do with the choices I actually control." Now, it's very easy in those moments to find ourselves really getting caught up in disappointment, really getting caught up in frustration, often even anger, because things aren't going the way we want. We had deadlines to meet, we had certain obligations that we had put in place, certain responsibilities to take care of. But when we find ourselves not able to meet the mark, then it's quite easy to get caught up and consumed by disempowering emotion. And as I said at the start of this video, that can often be the thing that puts you further behind. So by simply identifying if it's within your control or it's outside of your control, straight away you start to give yourself a bit of perspective. And the Stoics were very much so about having a great perspective around the happenings of life, looking at it with logic as opposed to just reacting out of emotion. And I love this quote from Seneca that really just summarizes everything I just shared. How does it help to make troubles heavier by bemoaning them? I remember learning something years ago from a guy called Jim Rohn. When it comes to being effective in life, he said, we must learn to discipline our disappointments. And there are 2 quotes that I want to share with you that really speak to that idea of disciplining our disappointments. These 2 perspectives from Marcus Aurelius, I think, absolutely allow us to do that. If you are pained by anything external, it is not this thing that disturbs you, but your own judgment about it. And it is in your power to wipe out this judgment now. A setback has often cleared the way for greater prosperity. These quotes, these mentalities absolutely helped me in this past week, and I trust that they're going to help you in some way. Take these quotes, write them down, put them in a journal somewhere, come back to them on those days where life doesn't go the way you want. Maintain a balanced perspective, come from reason, come from wisdom over reaction. I think it's really important for us to continue to come back to great quotes, to great ideas, to videos, to content that really keeps us plugged in and dialed in, so we can just keep putting one foot in front of the other, so we don't find ourselves stagnant in life, spinning our wheels, wishing things were better, wishing things were different. It's up to us to take charge, to move forward. And the way we're going to do that is by connecting to the right thinking. And then that, of course, is then going to influence the right acting. And that's what's going to produce the results in our life. So keep surrounding yourself with great ideas, great quotes, great things that pull you through. You don't have to do this alone. There are many people who've gone before us whose wisdom we can draw on, we can access, and we can utilize in our life. That's what they would want for us. And so hopefully this video has given you some little ideas, some little things to think about that will help you take charge of your perspectives in uncertain times, in difficult times. You've got this. Keep moving forward. Take what you've learned, journal about it, share it out with people you care about. Drop a comment below if this video has resonated. Drop a like. I appreciate you. Can't wait to see you on the next one.